Next up to the stage, we have someone amazing that I am delighted to interview, one of my personal heroes and also my professional investor in my latest company, Ms. Arlan Hamilton. If you don't know about Arlan, you're about to know. 4 years ago, she was on food stamps and sleeping in the airport, and today she runs a $36 million venture capital fund as one of the only Black female venture capitalists in the world. That's right. She's invested in over 100 companies, all of which have a female founder, a person of color, or an LGBTQ founder. So let's learn from Ms. Arlan Hamilton.
Hey girl, hey. Am I on? Can y'all hear me?
Can y'all hear her?
Can you hear me in the back? Yes.
Can you hear me now?
First of all, I want to say that I think it's quite unfair that we're following those young ladies.
I mean, rude.
I have a bone to pick with. They are amazing. Oh my God. And you are amazing too. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. So you're super hot right now.
Ooh, okay.
You're super. I don't know why we do this. Lions aren't modest. You are super hot right now.
The hot word, I don't know. Something's a little different for me. But.
Well, let me prove it. Arlan is currently on the cover of Fast Company magazine.
Uh-oh.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll take that.
The cover. She is the only Black woman who isn't Oprah or Serena Williams or Beyonce, who, as we know, is the Queen of America. Yeah. She is the. So that's a big deal. You're in very good company. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's been quite surreal, seeing myself at airports and
everywhere,
in Whole Foods like
everywhere.
That. Yeah.
Everywhere, and so well deserved. So tell us, how did you get on the cover?
Oh, there was
a few steps, right?
Yeah, they reached out. They wanted to do an interview, and of course I did the interview, and they came to visit. And I should have known something when the interviewer flew across the country while something like 6 months pregnant to do the interview. But I was kind of clueless. I was like, oh, this is great. I'll probably get a feature in it. And then a little bit later, they said, yeah, we're thinking about having you on the cover. And so then everything changed, and I didn't know, and I didn't see the cover until 2 days before everyone else saw it.
Really?
So I had no idea what it was going to look like.
Oh my goodness.
And then I saw it, and I was like, wow, that is me. And I was really proud that they could have done things. They could have done some odd things, like they could have lightened my skin. They could have done a lot of things that I wouldn't have control over. But I saw myself with just like eyebrows on fleek.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's me, just like. Out of 10, let's go.
Today.
Yeah.
They fleeking.
Yeah. It was. There's a video of me crying that one of my best friends took when I saw the physical copy for the first time.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, they handed it to me, and I didn't know I was going to see it, and I said, oh, it's so surreal that I can't even feel this. Hasn't even hit me. And I turned and I saw my mom, and she wasn't crying. She was just beaming. And I turned and I saw her, and the moment hit me.
Wow.
And I just became this puddle of tears, and I just collapsed. And it was, I had a moment where everything else was gone, and I really honestly imagined myself just a few years ago, and I said, I cannot believe.
It's amazing.
Cannot believe this.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So tell us about a few years ago. How did all of Backstage Capital start?
Yeah, I was, I'm 38 now.
Okay.
And
okay,
Backstage.
Baby face.
Yeah, well, it officially started 34, 35. I had been previously for about 3 years pounding the pavement, really, and have been since. Pounding the pavement, looking for investors. I didn't have any background in the venture world. I didn't know much about startups or venture capital, certainly. But once I understood what startups were, the potential they had, and how they could level the playing field, how they, anyone has permission to start a company. And with today's technology, anybody can. That really just opened up a new world to me in my early 30s. And so I initially went out to just try to raise money to start a company because I'd always had that entrepreneurial spirit about me. And then quickly learned that I wasn't going to get in the same rooms. I wasn't going to have the same conversations. I didn't have the same problems as other people had. And I started to figure out why, both through reading about it a little bit and experiencing it, and the third, talking to dozens of other founders who are from all backgrounds. And just realizing over and over again, people are completely being overlooked. There's a bias. It's everything from racism to just a bias, but everything in between is a barrier. And I have never been I've never been one to not speak my mind or say what I feel. And I, of course, there was this charming website called Twitter, something to that effect. That I took to quite early.
Oh, shade. Jack is gonna get you, girl.
Jack, come talk to me.
Oh, come
He's
see
good.
me.
He's fine. No. It was, it was a great place because I could speak my mind, and I was writing things, and I was blogging and yelling at people and saying, "Stop being silly. Stop overlooking women. Stop overlooking Black women and Latina women. Like, stop it. Because it's just a foolish thing, and it's something that can be cured. It's a disease that can be cured quite easily. And so I did that, and then I understood. Okay, I can talk about this a lot, and I probably can. But if I don't start figuring out a way to write checks, I won't be in those rooms that are where the decisions are being made, and that is where I have my true power, and that's where I can really get the the needle moved.
Move the dial. Yeah. So that's amazing. Speaking of Twitter, or Twitter, as you called it, which I quite like, they tell us a lot about, I think one of the main systemic issues for women and girls is that our cultures, all cultures actually, teach young girls to be accommodating and apologize. But you are the definition of an unapologetic. But if y'all don't follow her on Twitter, you will soon. And she literally has a black fist emoji in her Twitter handle. So
it's a friendly pound. Arlan was here, Arlan was here. You can follow me there, and it's at your own risk.
She's doing a lot of truth telling on there. So what does being unapologetic mean to you?
It's being authentic to yourself, and like the young ladies who were just here, who I love how poised they are and how they're confident and they know what they're doing, and I don't know if a lot of the adults in the room feel like that. No. But it is about, even if you're shy, if it's hard for you to read, if you learn better if you're watching video, any sort of thing that happens or that you are, just having ownership of that and being okay with it is being unapologetic. And then right now we can't afford to be, at least I feel I can't, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I can't afford to be complacent. I can't afford to be subtle. Because this is
time's up.
Yeah, this is a special time.
Yes, it is.
Right now, and we've had many of these times in our history, and I think we're living through it now, and we've seen from history that things get changed if we make noise, and you can't. I just feel like there's so many people who feel that they can't say something. They feel whatever thing. People have health insurance. They don't want to lose. They don't want to speak up. They don't want to rock the boat. And I 100% back them. But I want to speak up because I can, and I'm not afraid of someone taking that from me, taking something from me. And I want for the people who aren't in that position. That I have a position of privilege. As much as I talk about not having privilege, I am in a position of privilege in many ways. And one of them is, well, there's a lot of youth in the audience, but not giving much of something.
An F? Can I buy a vowel?
Yes. I care deeply about people, and I care about, I take myself, I take what I'm doing seriously.
Definitely.
But I'm not really caught up in sort of the politics of things are really humorous to me. And it's, I don't know where it comes from. Maybe it comes from not having much and not having to worry about, upsetting some sort of institution that hasn't respected me. So why do I need to break my neck to show them reverence in some way? And my mom taught me very early. My mom grew up in Jackson, Mississippi during the 50s and 60s, so you can imagine how that was. And she taught me very early two things. She taught me you treat people how you want to be treated. You don't judge someone by the color of their skin. And she had a lot of instances where she could have been a different type of person. And the second thing was even people who are older than you need to earn respect. They earn your respect. And that was really deep for me, that was deep. Yes. And so, I think it's about damn time.
Ooh.
That's what they call it. That's what they call it now.
That's what they call it?
That's what they call the fun.
It's about time fun.
It's about time.
It's about damn time.
It's about our time. It's our time. I mean, you are a great example of this. I mean, the work that you've done, I think I know my job has not been easy, but I think I have the easier of the jobs because you represent 100 other, we have 100 companies in our portfolio. You represent them, and that, you've been in rooms where even with all of your experience, intellect, integrity, all of that, you are dismissed as you must be the secretary, you must be the this, you must be the that. People in this room, I can probably guess that 90% of the women in this room have been something. Have been looked at as the secretary, looked at as, and they're probably running the show, or have been catcalled or treated a certain way. And all we're trying to do is just work. Yeah. All we want to do is go to work and either work on something or start a company or do that. And we have all these other things we have to think about all day. Yeah. So I have no problem clapping back online, because that is the least I can do.
Yeah. Men only respond to power, right? So I think
most of them, not all.
The ones in our field do. I mean, you know what they're doing out there. It's a whole bunch of G-check. And so men only respond to power. And I think it's hard because, unfortunately, when you're a woman or a person of color, there is the subtle sexism of lowered expectations.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't think you can do it. And so coming out and saying, I'm going to invest in every black founder, I'm going to invest in it. I mean, it's a very bold and honorable goal. And sometimes, especially me, people just, good for you, girl, keep at it. Climb every mountain and send you on your way. And you don't get taken seriously. Yeah. How do you deal with the doubt? With people doubting you?
I package it. I put a little package, and then I, put it away. And I used to think about it, but I put it away, and I repurpose it, and I turn it into some of that power, into some of that. Because there's also, if you follow me on Twitter, or if you've seen me, there's a little bit of even though I was kind of timid at first, there's a little bit of bravado that I have because I know I'm going toe to toe. I'm in these rooms every single day with these guys, and I tell you what, I've seen the most mediocre man, Superman, just this, and people jump and they do what they say and they this and we should be. Greg said, Steven said, okay, we should go. And so, so I try to.
Not Greg.
I say it's siphoning. Yeah. Or it could be Leroy. It can be just guys said. I try to siphon that male privilege, and I observe and all that. And when people are doubting me, because honestly, at this point, I just there's so many mansplainers and all that online, and when they're in front of me now. Sometimes I catch myself, and there's like a guy, and he's like trying to doubt me, and I look at him, and for a moment I'm thinking, wait, did he start a fund from the ground up and invest in 100 people? When was the last time he was on Fast Company? I don't remember seeing his. I don't remember that either.
How did you?
So
is he here to clean up?
I think about the source. I'm getting a phone call.
She's that busy.
I think about the source, and I think about the intent, the intention of where they're coming from. Do I need to listen to this particular person right now? Do I need their energy? Because I probably don't. Yeah. It's not that I'm not. It's not that you can't criticize me, because I actually thrive off of that. Please talk to me and let's challenge me. But if you're there just to tell me, to explain me. I use the block button on Twitter with the band in, and I do it in real life.
In real life?
Yeah,
You tell Greg to wrap it up?
Yeah, Greg and Steve and Leroy,
Don't
we
forget
all
Leroy.
just y'all just
Zip it.
No, I didn't ask you. I hadn't asked you that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So when you first came, because amazing, and you all will read this when you read the Fast Company story, is that you did the work to educate yourself and learn everything you know, like listening to podcasts, reading up on people, and then you go back to the airport and sleep.
Yeah, I've been in different places, but yeah, part of it was the airport. I slept on the airport. I slept on the floor of the airport. I slept in people's couches. I didn't sleep. Sometimes I'd just be walking around at night and all sorts of stuff.
Keep them busy.
Yeah. It wasn't cute, but it wasn't cute, but it's in the past. It's something that I remember. Actually, 2 days ago, I was in San Francisco and I was speaking at a big event, and I was feeling a little overwhelmed by something else. And I just like, I said, I put my phone off and I just took 30 minutes and I walked around a neighborhood that I had actually about 4 years ago had taken my luggage and walked around and nobody knew I was homeless. And I had walked around it, and now I was like, oh, but I'm going to stay at a 5-star hotel in the same neighborhood tonight.
Wow.
And I took that in, and I said, what a great thing that I have that ability to do that, but never forget it. Never forget it, because as soon as I forget it, all the magic I think that makes Backstage Capital what it is, it can be lost in a moment. And so I try to keep very close ties to any of that, and there's a lot to remember. There's a lot to pull from.
Yeah, that's amazing. But that's how you develop strength. It's just like with a video game. Like at every level, you get better. You have to beat something to get to the next level.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love that. So Backstage is a reminder, and it's the future. It's a vision. What does the world look like with Backstage in it?
In a few years, hopefully it looks more like rooms like this. It looks more like
this room looks good.
Yes.
Y'all look good.
It looks more like reality. It's not it's not like a Children of the Corn.
I don't even.
It's just a.
Oh my!
So it's,
no, I
or a
get
step. It's just it looks like
the world.
It looks like the world.
Yes.
Looks like Canada. Looks like the U.S.
Yes.
When you go outside or if you look at TV, I mean, we're so influenced by television and music. All of us will easily and quickly absorb and take from cultures, but. And the thing that gets me, you didn't even ask me, but I'm going to tell you. The thing that gets me is when I walk into a VC fund or something in Silicon Valley, and they're bumping Tupac, or they're bumping the latest stuff that I'm much too whatever to know. And I'm like, but they're not writing checks to black people.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I better see, like, every other room better be full of, like, meetings you're having with black people. You're going to be in here with your Drake on.
Yes.
And your Yeezy.
Someone said that once. There's like, they like black culture, they just don't like black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like this weird
you can't separate the two.
You can't
go back there. You're not going to have me singing on stage and make me walk to the kitchen to get there. You're not going to do it. I just won't stand for it anymore. It's it's in me. I think it's in a lot of us. I think we're not sitting for that anymore.
Yes, and I love that. Like you said, it's definitely time, and I love that. And the reason I love your story so much, because, it is hard to be a founder and go through all these things, but you're doing it 100x. So we so appreciate it. And when I look at you and what you've done, I just have to remind myself, if one can, all can.
Yes.
So what can we learn from the audience? How do we get to be you? How do we get to be on your level?
You be a very outspoken lesbian that's black on Twitter. Okay, lesbian. Write that down.
Is he in lesbian?
However you want to spell it.
Okay, see, I'm already bad at it. Okay, be an outspoken lesbian.
Just be true to yourself. If everybody, made the decision in the next couple of minutes that they're going to shift things by 10%, they're going to speak up 10% of the time more than they have been, or they're gonna share their privilege in a way 10% more of the time. Yeah. They're gonna do something. Then that's huge. That makes huge changes. I think that I'm always wanting to make sure people don't give up too much of themselves for business stuff. Like we already have. I was in a school. I was like 5th grade or something, and our teacher gave us a white piece of paper. And maybe a lot of people did this, but I thought it was so cool, and I was a very pensive little child. And they gave us this white piece of paper, and she said, take this paper around all day, and rip a piece off if you feel hurt by something. If you feel someone hurt your feelings, or something happened, or take a piece as big as that hurt, and come back. And most of the students came back with this much paper at the end of the day, and that stayed with me for so long. It's like you never know what people are going through, no matter who they are. No matter, like straight white men right now, they're going through stuff right now. We have to be in this together.
Yes.
So just kind of shifting your mindset a little bit. It doesn't have to be this huge mountain that, I have to do you don't have to invest in 100 people and kind of. I shouldn't actually have had to go from sleeping on the ground to investing in 100 companies to be noticed as a Black woman. You know, there's so much in between that.
Right.
So there are gradients to it that I think we can all do.
Everybody can. If one can, all can.
And then get your eyebrows on fleek.
This is a very simple plan. I'm going to follow this plan.
Yeah.
So dream a little dream, do a little more, and you can be just like Arlan Hamilton. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank